The morning sun slid gently through the thin curtains of Isla's small bedroom, filling the room with soft, golden light. 16-year-old Isla stood in front of the mirror, staring at her own reflection as if trying to recognize the girl staring back. Her head was completely bald, smooth, clean, shining softly under the sunlight. She lifted her hand and ran her fingers slowly across her scalp. It wasn't sadness she felt, it was exhaustion. Exhaustion from pretending to be strong. Exhaustion from hearing the same whispers every day. Exhaustion from fighting battles no one else could see. She took a slow breath, steadying herself. "You can do it, one more day," she whispered. Then she picked up her school bag and walked outside with quiet determination. The school gate was crowded as always, students laughing, shouting, walking in groups. As Isla stepped inside, heads turned, some subtly, some openly. A group of girls near the entrance paused their conversations. One of them whispered loudly, "There she is, the bald girl." Another added, "I heard she's sick. I don't even want to sit near her." Their giggles echoed behind Isla like a sting she had learned to hide. Every whisper felt like a tiny needle piercing her heart. But she didn't react. She didn't slow down. She kept walking straight, keeping her expression calm even though her heart trembled inside. No matter how many days passed, the stairs never became easier, the classroom felt heavier than usual. As Isla quietly took her seat at the last bench, classmates glanced at her from the corner of their eyes. Some with pity. Some with curiosity. Some with cruelty. The teacher began the lesson, but suddenly she looked up and called, "Isla, would you please read the next paragraph for the class?" Silence fell instantly. She wiped her eyes, this time not from sadness, but from relief. Rayyan didn't see her as the bald girl. He saw her as Isla, the strong one, the fighter. That night, Isla stood in front of the mirror again. But this time, she didn't focus on her bald head. She focused on her eyes, eyes that had survived pain, fear, loneliness, and still held light. She traced her reflection gently, whispering, "You're still you, even without hair." For the first time in years, she smiled at herself. A real smile. The next morning, Isla walked into school without her hat. Without hiding. Without fear. Her bald head shone under the sunlight with a quiet beauty. Students stared, confused, surprised, shocked. But this time, Isla didn't look away. She walked with her shoulders straight, her steps steady. Rayyan saw her from across the courtyard and gave her a small nod of encouragement. And at that moment, Isla realized something powerful. She didn't need the world's approval. She didn't need hair to be beautiful. She didn't need anyone to define her. Because she had finally learned to define herself. And that was the day Isla became unstoppable. 2 years earlier, Isla had been sitting on a white hospital bed, the smell of disinfectant heavy in the air. Her mother sat beside her, brushing Isla's beautiful long hair gently, carefully. Isla had always loved her hair, it was thick, soft, flowing. But suddenly, with one stroke of the brush, a huge clump of hair fell into her mother's hand. They both froze. Isla's eyes filled with fear. Her mother tried to smile, though her hands trembled. "It's okay, sweetheart, hair grows back. You just need to get better." But Isla watched more strands fall, and fall. That day, something inside her broke quietly. And she had been piecing herself back together ever since. Back in the present, Isla wiped her tears quickly when she heard footsteps behind her. She turned and saw Rayyan, a quiet boy from her class, someone who was always kind but never said much. He didn't laugh at her. He didn't stare. He didn't treat her like she was fragile. He simply walked over and sat near her, leaving space, offering silent company. After a moment, he said softly, "You know, the strongest people are the ones fighting battles nobody knows about." Isla blinked, surprised by his gentleness. Rayyan added, looking at her carefully, "You don't need hair to shine. Some stars glow even without light." Isla's heart trembled at his words. No one had ever spoken to her like that. Not once. Rayan stood and faced the sky, hands in his pockets. People judge what they don't understand, he said quietly. But I think you're the bravest person in this whole school. Isla felt something warm spread in her chest, a feeling she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Isla froze, then slowly stood, her legs slightly shaking. Dozens of eyes locked on her bald head. Her fingers tightened on the book as she began reading, her voice small and unsure at first. But as she continued, her voice grew clearer, steadier. For a moment, the class forgot who she was, they only heard her confidence. When she finished, a strange silence filled the room, one that felt different, softer, almost respectful. Isla sat down quietly, her heart finally beating with a little warmth. During lunch break, Isla slipped away to the school rooftop, her secret place, the only place where she felt she could breathe. The wind brushed against her bare scalp, cool and gentle, as if comforting her in ways no human ever did. She leaned against the railing, her eyes filling with unshed tears. If only they knew, she whispered to the empty sky, I didn't choose this. A tear slid down her cheek. It wasn't losing her hair that hurt her the most, it was losing the way people used to look at her. Before, she was Isla, the girl who loved art, dancing, laughing. Now she was just the bald girl. She closed her eyes, fighting the ache in her chest.